The 13 weather ball is shining green today in support of Michigan State University as we mark 1 year since the mass shooting on campus. We know it can bring up a lot of complicated feelings for students. Joining us now, Christy Buck, the Executive Director of the Mental Health Foundation. And Christy, what is the most important thing for students to remember on a difficult day like today?
One big thing is that they are not alone.
Yeah.
So for students, sometimes you're battling your own grief and you're in a world of not understanding exactly what happened still, even a year later. And remember that you are not alone, that there are oftentimes other folks that are still struggling. And in addition, a lot of healing that is still happening right now.
And I have been listening to students over the past couple of weeks talk about it, and they say, we are still grieving. It's a year, you still grieve a year later.
You know, Juliet, anytime there's a loss, it's difficult. But when things happen unexpectedly, a loss, a death, anyway, grief is extremely complicated. And the complication is trying to find answers, trying to remember that you are not alone. And oftentimes that leads people to isolation and not actually going out and getting help. And, grief is very different for everybody.
Yeah.
For some folks, they are still grieving. Other people were able to, I'll just put it, move on.
Right.
And you shouldn't expect yourself to move on like everybody else because
Sure.
it's a different time period for everybody.
And it didn't just affect the students, of course, alumni and other people with ties to the university. What should they keep in mind?
Keep in mind that, I love the saying, Spartan Strong.
Yeah.
I mean, that people can get through difficult times, that there's resiliency amongst many of us. But the biggest, most important thing is there are resources out there for people to access. The fact that they extended counseling for the students, but in addition, if I'm an alumni, and it really affected me that night because I couldn't believe on the campus where I went to school, something so tragic was happening. It did.
Yeah.
And so understanding that with each other, we have to reach out and notice and have an understanding of the differences in someone's behavior and make sure that we pass out resources.
And it's okay to talk about it. Please talk about it. I mean, that's what helps.
Please talk about it,
Yeah,
for
we want
sure.
people to talk about
And
it.
Tom Izzo isn't going to stop talking about it.
Right.
I mean, his life almost changed that day for himself.
Right.
His son was very affected. And so for Tom Izzo to get up and show us some tears, because this is an emotional time for everyone. It's not a weakness. It is strength to show that we all have emotions.
All right, Christy Buck, we want to put up that, we just showed that on the screen. They're holding a virtual crisis counseling line. It's available for students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The call is 517-355-8270, right there on the screen, and you press 1 to speak to a crisis counselor. Christy Buck with the Mental Health Foundation, once again, thank you so much for your insight and for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for doing this.